Hello again. I think that most of us know what museums are. Nevertheless, to be on the safe side and avoid any sort of misunderstanding, in 2007 the International Council of Museums issued their definition of what constitutes a museum. They said that a museum was a non-profit, permanent institution in the service of society and its development, open to the public, which acquires, conserves, researches, communicates, and exhibits the tangible and intangible heritage of humanity and its environment for the purposes of education, study, and enjoyment. I think that sounds reasonable. A museum is simply a place to display our heritage so that people can enjoy what they see and learn from it, and also to research into the past. That's what museums are. Alas, this is a bit too simple for this modern post-colonial era, and a consultation has been underway to come up with a new definition, one which is more relevant to the sensitivities of the woke world. I'm sure that you're all keen to hear what a museum is today. Here's the definition, which was provisionally decided in 2019 and will now be adopted next year by the International Council for Museums. Are you ready? Museums are democratising, inclusive and polyphonic spaces for critical dialogue about the pasts and the futures. Acknowledging and addressing the conflicts and challenges of the present, they hold artefacts and specimens in trust for society, safeguard diverse memories for future generations, and guarantee equal rights and equal access to heritage for all people. Museums are not for profit, they are participatory and transparent, and work in active partnership with and for diverse communities to collect, preserve, research, interpret, exhibit, and enhance understandings of the world, aiming to contribute to human dignity and social justice, global equality, and planetary well-being. Now you know. Now, one thing which viewers will notice at once is that this new definition is not written in English. Consider only the first sentence. Museums are democratising, inclusive and polyphonic spaces for critical dialogue about the pasts and the futures. I will pass over the awful way in which the word democratic has been converted into a verb. I think I know what they mean by democratising, although I'm not really quite sure. The old definition said that museums are open to the public. You can hardly get more democratic and inclusive than that. As long as the public can visit the place, it is automatically democratic and exclusive. You really don't have to add on pointless words by going on to say that you will guarantee equal rights and equal access to heritage for all people. Open to the public encompasses all that in just 4 words. Okay, it's wordy, but I can just about make sense of that bit. But what on earth has polyphony got to do with the case? Polyphony is a musical term. When you play more than one note or tone simultaneously, as in when you play a chord on the piano and hit 3 keys at once, that's polyphony. I have literally no idea, though, what is meant by polyphonic spaces for critical dialogue about the pasts and the futures. This is word salad. It's long words strung together to sound clever. Why are they talking about futures in the plural? I can see the idea of more than one possible future, but I've never in my life seen the phrase pasts and futures. How would a critical dialogue in a museum alter the past and affect the future? This is utterly beyond me. What does it mean to say that a museum is participatory and transparent? How can I participate with the British Museum? Do they mean that one can walk around and look at things? What do they mean by transparent? I don't get it. Still thinking about the British Museum, how can it aim to contribute to planetary well-being? I mean, is this an astrological thing? And I have not the remotest idea how or why the Natural History Museum in London could contribute to social justice or global equality. I don't think that I'm an especially stupid person, and I use words to make a living, but I will confess myself altogether defeated by this new way of saying what a museum is. What is clear, though, is that if museums were to agree to such a definition of their purpose, then it would mean the end of the museum as we understand it. At the moment, museums and their staff choose what items they acquire and put on display, and they decide what the labels on those things will be. All this talk about democratising and participatory means that they will be allowing various pressure groups to have a say in what they show and how they present exhibits. The active partnerships with diverse communities is code for allowing people like the Black Lives Matter movement to bully museums into purging their collections of anything from the colonial era and putting signs on everything else denouncing white privilege. It's a horrifying vision of the future. It seems to me that at every touch and turn, the forces of barbarism are waiting to destroy every aspect of the civilization and culture which has been built up over the centuries by Western Europe and the United States. Our museums and art galleries are at the moment one of the last parts of our culture to escape the barbarians, but not for much longer if things continue down this road. Instead of being proud to celebrate our achievements, we should be apologising for being so successful and productive and inventing so much in the way of fine art and scientific developments. I attach in the description to this video a link to the International Council of Museums definition, which they almost adopted in 1919 but failed to do so. As I say, unless something happens, that's going to be the official international definition of a museum from next year.